Welcome back to another episode of Modaufy Garage. I'm Alex. On today's episode, I'm changing the lower control arms in this Subaru Impreza 2010 RS. Now, the reason why I'm changing it is because I've got brake vibration. Now, you're probably thinking, why don't I just change the pad and change the discs? Well, the issue is that there is a tear in both sides on both bushes on the rear bush. So I don't want to go change pads and discs for this problem to occur in 3 months. So let's get to it and let's get to changing the lower control arms and let's see if that makes an improvement. To get access to the lower control arms, firstly need to jack the car, place some jack stands underneath because we will be under the vehicle during this time, and we just need to make sure it's secure. Next part of the process is taking the wheel nuts off, removing the wheel so we can get access to the lower control arm, and just have a quick look to make sure you have the right tools for the job. This is the right hand side lower rear bush on the lower control arm. You can see the rip in the bush where my finger is, and the car has just done over 100,000 kilometers, and the left hand side is showing exactly the same wear and tear. I've decided to replace this with a brand new aftermarket replacement arm, which includes both bushes and a new ball joint which I found on eBay. So what I'm doing here is undoing the two bolts that attach to the car, to the chassis, that hold the plate. I ended up using my impact gun because these are highly torqued, and I did struggle a little bit with my breaker bar. There is also a nut holding onto a bolt that holds the rear bush into position, but I just loosen this up because later on I'm going to have to knock the lower control arm out because the ball joint was holding it in position. The next thing I did was remove the sway bar link. So what I did to hold the bolt, I used a Torx bit, even though I should have used a hex bit, and then I just used my spanner to undo it. And all I did, once the nut was removed, I just pushed the sway bar link out, and that was enough. I didn't have to remove both. What I did next was loosen the nut and bolt that hold the front bush. So I just put a spanner and used my ratchet on the other side. This is the bolt holding the ball joint on the lower control arm. What I did here was remove the whole thing, take it out. It did move a little bit. However, what I need to do was get 2 mallets and just give it one final tap for it to be released. So it's as simple as that. So the ball joint is out now, just remove the bolts and the nuts and everything should pop out. The ball joint's not too bad considering the car's done 100,000 kilometers, but the new arm does have a ball joint, so it's going to be replaced anyway. This is the culprit rear bush on the lower control arm, and I've shown you the tears already, so I'm happy to be putting a new part in. And this is the front bush, which seems in reasonable condition. Before reinstallation, I just want to do a side-by-side comparison of the control arms, new and old, and they're exactly the same, they're identical. Now I've taken the old arm out, it's time to put the new arm in, so let's get to it. What I'm doing now is just making sure the ball joint's seated correctly. You're just using a mallet just to tap it into position, making sure it goes in smoothly before I tighten up to torque specs. I'm just making the last minute visual inspection to make sure everything is done, and then we're ready to get on to the next side. completed the lower control arms now on the Subaru Impreza. I'm actually quite happy with it. I did take it for a good 20-kilometer drive last night, and it has made a big difference. There is still a little bit of vibration in the brake pedal, but that will be fixed once I do a brake and disc change. Just one thing though, once I removed the jack stands and the jacks, put the car back on its own weight, I had to go back to the front bushes on both sides, left and right. They're the front bushes, and torque them up to spec. I think off from memory it's around 95 Newton meters. That was the last thing to do. Look, it's probably going to need a wheel alignment. The wheel is slightly off now because I have touched the geometry, but overall I'm actually happy with the outcome. So if you liked the video, hit the like button. If you want to see more content from Modaufy Garage, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you on the next video.